Here we go, everyone. Alright, I am starting this page by applying a nice, fairly thin, but decent layer of matte medium. This is the golden. I am going to be collaging down just some paper. So that's what we're starting with. Here is the paper I'm using. This is deli paper. A friend of mine went to a place here in town and got this deli paper underneath her sandwich, and I said, I have to have that when you're done. So because it's waxed deli paper, it rinsed off under the water really nicely. One of my crafty buddies was very disgusted by the fact that it had sandwich stains on it. I'm like, I don't care, it's gonna get all painted up anyway. So shoot, that's free ephemera for me. So let's see, yeah, just gluing everything down. Next few minutes are going to be, you can't miss a moment because I'm doing so much entertaining stuff, so do not avert your eyes. I'm just tearing the edges, just giving it a kind of jagged look. I don't care about perfection. I don't care that the blue from the other page is seeping through. It doesn't matter. It's going to get blended anyway, so. It's one of the things that I've learned with art journaling. I used to be a big perfectionist. Now I'm like, it is what it is. And it makes doing what you do a lot more fun when you don't really care if it's perfect at the end. And I think you also get some better results when you're more free and can do whatever you want. So, just finishing up collaging. Man, I am tired, guys. I got a really horrible night's sleep last night. My kid woke me up, my cousin woke me up, my cat woke me up, knocking down the gate, and then the dog woke me up, eating the cat's food on the other side of the gate. It was just a crazy night, so I am looking forward to sleeping. So I was just debating whether or not to keep that piece there, and I decided not to. So I am just using a little bit of gesso and some water just to wash this down a little bit. Plus it'll also adhere to the wax paper and make it a lot easier to put other mediums on top of that wax paper. I'm just blotting it up a bit because I just want it fairly washed. I don't want to cover up anything. So now this is clear gesso. Because that was wax paper, I wanted to be able to do whatever I wanted to on top of this. I end up not using any, water-based mediums or anything, but this layer still helps everything to grab a little bit better. So this is a good way to use your clear gesso if you have it. If you have something the way you like it and you want to be able to add whatever you want on top, like something like a wax paper underneath, because wax paper, water-based things won't really dry very well on wax paper. Yeah, use some clear gesso over it. So I am using my ink tints and just going in with a little bit of yellow. I'm just trying to make it look like an old vintage page of text or newsprint. So I'm just going to go in with some water and just kind of smear it all around. That's water. Those ink tints are so cool. They don't look like they're putting very much on the page, but then as soon as you add water, it's like, BAM! Color. So I go in with a rag and just kind of blot it up again. And I added some water to reconstitute it a little bit because it wasn't completely dry yet. I just wanted a very splotchy appearance. So now I'm going in with some brown acrylic paint, and I'm just going over the whole page. And then spraying it down with water. And blotting it back up. And I love how this makes it look like a dirty old... Dirty. I love that dirty, dirty old newspaper. That rag is so filthy. I use one rag for acrylic because it gets all crunchy and hard, and then another for water-based stuff. So this is just India ink. I'm just doing a circle. I don't know why. Just because I love Donna Downey, and that's kind of a thing she does. So gotta give props where props are due. The girl inspires me. So All right, now these little butterfly who's it's on acetate. What it is it was a set of Kaisercraft stamps that I purchased, and this is the backing for it, the liner. And I don't save any of those. I keep all of my clear stamps in CD cases. So, but I liked the look because it reminds me a lot of the Tim Holtz stamps. So, yeah, I'm just coloring it up with some of the Faber-Castell Pitt big brush pens. Now these are India ink, so they will dry on the acetate, but it's not permanent like a Copic would be, because Copic is alcohol based. It dries quickly and it stays in place. These do dry and they stay, but if you rub, they will come off. So I'm coloring on the back side, because I don't believe in purchasing Copics, which are $8 a marker. That's just insane to me. So, and even on clearance, like $4 or $5 for a marker is just nuts to me. So I'm trimming this off. That little mesh thing in the background, I used that in one of my previous videos. I think in the K page I tried spraying some water through it or using a baby wipe through it. What that is just a piece of cardstock that I die cut. It's a die cut. And I still don't know who makes that. But it's a burlap die, and it's wonderful. I love that. So as you can see, I only colored one of the butterflies, and then I am just gluing down the other ones with some score tape. I'm just putting the score tape right behind the butterfly so you can't see it. You have to be smart when gluing down acetate. There's my hat, so you can't see my bald spot. No, I was just wearing a hat that day. So I'm gluing them pretty much back in the order that I had them in, but the black and white ones are the the ones that I didn't color. Excuse the noise, I was adjusting my headset. Those are going to go underneath, and then the colored one is going to go on top. Because I stand out, so yeah, that's me. So I am just using my heat gun to curl up that acetate, and just to give it a little bit of dimension. Don't do it too much or you'll way overheat it and melt it, and it's not pretty. So I'm just using some distress ink, I think Gathered Twigs, and I just smeared it on my mat, sprayed some water, and just kind of rubbed that around. I wasn't looking for perfect inking. I just wanted it kind of distressed, and yeah, so it's perfect. So I wanted those non-colored ones. I'm stapling it with my tiny attacher. Those non-colored butterflies, I wanted those to be behind that mesh. I'm just adding some staples at the bottom because I'm going to end up actually gluing it down. I think I used just Aleene's tacky glue. So I wanted those behind there because it almost looked like they were in prison there, and then the one above, which was in color, was kind of free. So yeah. Has nothing to do with the page. It was just a design element that I liked, and I like the sentiment behind it. Sometimes there is actually like reasons for what I do, which is bizarre. So I'm just gluing this down. I didn't try to glue it down perfectly because I did want a little dimension. So this is just a piece of grunge paper that I die cut, and using the weathered clock die from Tim Holtz. And this is it's metal paint. It's made for metal, but it works just fine on everything else. So, and this is some gold metal paint, and again, it's for metal, but again, works just fine here. This is really cool. It's got an awesome iridescence to it. So I'm just going over the whole thing, just giving it a really patinaed look. Patinaed look, just in case you didn't hear me, because it sounded like I said patinaed in my head, and I'm like, that's not a word. Oh, my wife. See? I'm telling you, you don't hear half of the stuff she mumbles. She's like, I don't want to be on YouTube. I'm like, that's tough. Yeah, just finishing it up. So I decided, I cleaned up that gold and put it in another art journal. I'm like, ooh, I want to edge this. Because, you know, Donna Downey put gold around the edges on one of hers. And I'm like, ooh, I like that look. So I ended up going around the whole page with that gold. And then I even actually touched some of the raised centers in the center of the page. Because I scrunched up that deli paper a little bit. So it's kind of bumpy. So I just go through and touch some of that, and I did a little bit of it on the burlap. Yeah, that gold paint's awesome. So then I'm just trying to find a spot for this. I hope you can hear this. It's like when someone opens a bag of chips in the middle of the movie theater. It's like there's a reason they don't serve chips at the movie theater. What, like I didn't hear you? Oh boy. Okay, so still gluing. And I'm just taking Distress ink. I thought that white circly thing was just way too stark. So I just dulled it down a bit with some Distress ink, I think in Walnut Stain. Just, again, I just wanted it to be a little bit more in the background. I didn't want it so prominent. So then, now I'm just writing with, you know, I hate my handwriting, so with my horrible handwriting, and I actually end up covering this up, but I didn't do it on camera, so I'll show you the final look and show you what I did at the end. But here I go again. I'm a mess. So I put make time to art. Yeah, if you've watched all of my ABCs of art journaling videos, you'll know that this should have been L. So that was part of the reason I went back in to fix this, because I messed up. So instead of make time to art, it's leave time to art. So there you go. Art, of course, being a verb, in case you think that I don't know how to speak the English very goods. So I covered up my handwriting with those black recollection stickers. I outlined the art in black and filled it in again with more white. And that was the page. So hooray for deli paper. If anyone's getting rid of deli paper that's got print on it, smack them around a little bit, wash it under the sink, and put it in your art journal. Bye, folks. See you soon.